There's nothing quite like a warm fire on a cold winter's night. Nothing quite as warm as dragon's fire, and nothing colder than a dragon's heart. Dragons, says you, don't much care for them, says I. Not many do, even dragons don't like dragons. But every tale needs a villain. And this is the story of the girl and the dragon. Now this young girl lived in a cottage in a clearing in a wood down the way with her dear old grandfather, who was much too old to chop firewood. So old, in fact, as he made the oldest trees feel quite young. Autumn had come and gone, the last of the leaves had fallen, and the little girl knew she needed to find a way to keep her and her grandfather warm, or they wouldn't survive the winter. Desperate times call for desperate measures, and often lead to dangerous places. Now deep in the wood there was a cave, a dark cave, and inside lived a monstrous fire-breathing dragon with a foul temper. The little girl stood at the mouth of the cave, her knees knocking as knees only can when you're about to meet a dragon, before she took a deep breath to steady her nerves and stepped inside.
"Why have you entered my cave, little feast?"
The old dragon's voice echoed through the darkness.
"You're after my gold, I'll be bound. Take it, if you dare. Many have tried."
"I do not want your gold," the little girl said. "Only your fire to keep my grandfather warm in the winter."
"My fire? You ask for a dragon's fire?"
He growled in a voice most unpleasant.
"Tell me, little feast, why I shouldn't gobble you up instead."
"I could tell you a story," the little girl said. "Because dragons, as we all know, are cruel, greedy, and deceitful. But they're also very curious and love a good story as much as they love a good peasant to eat."
"Stories? Has it got stories, little feast?"
"I'll make a deal with you, sir," the clever little girl said. "I will tell you a story, and if you don't enjoy it, you can gobble me up. But if you like the story, you must keep my grandfather warm through the winter and promise never to hurt anyone ever again."
"You are either a very brave little girl, or a very stupid one,"
the old dragon said. "I am not very brave, and I'm not very clever," said the little girl. "I just want to keep my grandfather warm." But she was very brave, and she was very clever, because she knew dragons are cruel, greedy, deceitful, and very curious, and love a good story as much as they love a good peasant to eat. But also, among their many moral failings, dragons have a weakness for gambling.
"Very well, little feast. Tell your story. But if I don't like it, you must let me gobble you up without a fuss."
And so the little girl began telling her story, and such a fabulous story it was. I'm sure you wish you could hear it in place of the tale you're hearing now, and who could blame you? Full of magic and swords and adventure it was, a tale to set the ears a-tingling and spark a fire in your imagination. But when the clever little girl got to the romantic part of the story between the prince and princess, the old dragon began to fidget and squirm.
"What's this rot?"
he bellowed, growing impatient.
"Get back to the fighting and killing. I quite like that part."
"No," the little girl said. "You'll have to bear the lovely parts along with the dreadful ones." But dragons have no use for romance. No, they don't understand love. As I said, they don't even like themselves. And the old dragon's voice got low, and he began to grumble like two trolls arguing about something quite terrible.
"Skip ahead. Get on with the story."
He hissed a dragony hiss. "No, I won't finish the story unless you ask nicely," the little girl said. And suddenly, the old dragon was caught in a bewilderment.
"You think to order me, little feast? Finish the story."
"Only if you say please."
"I'll gobble you up."
"No, you won't," the clever little girl said. Our deal was you would gobble me up if you didn't enjoy the story. If you want to hear the ending, you must be enjoying it. She had him there, the clever little thing. But nothing good had ever come out of the dragon's mouth before, so he didn't quite know how to say please or thank you. Being new to saying nice things, the words caught in his dragony throat. He puffed and sputtered until smoke came out his nose, until finally he choked the words out.
Please, will you finish the story?
He asked, and so difficult and sincere was his asking, the clever little girl finished the tale. The dragon asked for another, and another, and another still, and soon the little girl realized dragons never have anyone to show them kindness or teach them manners. From the time they hatch, they're on their own, trying desperately not to be gobbled up by other bigger dragons. And when they grow, well, no one wants a full-grown dragon around. And suddenly, the big old dragon didn't seem half as scary as he seemed sad and lonely. The clever little girl finished her stories, and what do you suppose happened then? True to his word, the mean old dragon, who now didn't seem quite so mean, followed the little girl back to a cottage in a clearing in a wood down the way, and laid down next to the wall, his big dragon belly full of dragon fire, and kept them all quite warm and quite comfortable. He even learned to say please and thank you and good morning and good night, all the nice things good people ought to say, but dragons never do. And each night, he would wrap his tail and neck around the house and rest his dragon head under her window to hear a story before he fell asleep. And that is how the clever little girl tamed the dragon, proving you don't have to be big and strong to do brave things, and that a few kind words can warm the coldest of hearts.